welcome to Driving Revenue Growth with Patient-Centered Billing Solutions. I am your webinar host, Peter Hawes. Just a little background to me. I am the VP of Business Development here at BillFlash, and so yes, I am in sales, but just so you don't hate me right off the bat, I have spent time as a healthcare administrator. So I have been on that side of the fence as well. And so if there's anybody that could not empathize more with you in terms of making sure that our billing solutions are efficient and that we're collecting all that we can, it's me. So welcome, and let's get into this. All right. So what are we going to cover today? There's 4 key points that we're going to look at. And so one is, with the way things are headed in this digital age, how do we balance the convenience of digital bills or notices with traditional paper statements that we know are hyper effective? And then at the same time, speeding up the efficiency of collecting those payments. So that's the first thing we're going to look at. The second is, can we create a more efficient and convenient billing process for our patients by leveraging OnlinePay, something that's available 24/7 and doesn't take any staff handling time. The third point is, how can we enhance a patient experience by helping them with payment options, specifically PlanPay, and reducing the risk of the practice of unpaid bills. And then the fourth and last point is the benefits of setting up AutoPay solutions for both administrative staff and for patients. So those are the 4 different things that we're going to talk about. So right off the bat, let's start with the importance of creating a patient-centered billing experience. So what is this 66%? Back in the day, loyalty came from, hey, this is my family doctor. We've been going for years. And we've seen some interesting trends. And one of those most recently is that people will switch a provider just based off of the modalities or pay options that they have available. Especially this younger generation. In fact, that number 66% jumps up to 84% when we're talking about millennials. They want their Google Pay, they want their Apple Pay, they want their OnlinePay. So this is just something to really be cognizant of, because digital payments are evolving at a very rapid rate, and patients continue to seek these options out. They're expecting them. And with patients' out-of-pocket costs rising along with the high cost of healthcare, well, then it's important that we as practices are aware of payment trends and what our patients want. So when patients can make more informed decisions about their payments, what does that mean? That means they're more likely to pay and feel more loyal towards their practice. That's where that loyalty comes in. We're going to head from that into traditional mailed statements and eBill notices. So here we are in this digital age. So a lot of times it might seem like migrating to sending out only electronic statements or notices of statements makes sense. But believe it or not, consumers, your patients, disagree. In an online survey conducted by Consumer Action, most respondents noted that they prefer to receive all types of bills by mail, even when they opt to pay the bill online, which is most of the time. There's just something about that paper bill. I don't know if it's just bred into us, if we're conditioned to expect it, but it's still something that's preferred highly by the consumer. So what do? Well, what we've learned is that if you send out a traditional mailed statement, a paper statement, and then you follow it up with a notice of that statement, so an eBill notice, either a text message or an email, that will typically cut the average days to payment from 20 with just a traditional paper statement down to 9 days. So we'll get payment into the practice a week and a half faster if we combine the 2 efforts. In addition to that, and this is the important one, this is one I want you to make note of, write it down if you have to. But when you do both of those things together, traditional paper mail and now an electronic notice, The percentage of full payments rendered goes from 77% to 95%. That is an astounding statistic. An almost 20% increase in total collection when we do those things together. So this means, what does that mean? That creating a cohesive billing process across electronic and paper is essential to patient satisfaction. And what does patient satisfaction translate into? Increased payments. So BillFlash, if you're familiar or if you're not, we make it easy to send both electronic notices of their bills or sending out paper statements, all from one place. So whether it's an eBill notice, which means a text message or an email, or whether it's your mailed bill, you can expect that patients receive their statements on time. What does on time mean? Well, when you have an approved bill, inside of BillFlash will be mailed out next day, first class USPS. Next business day, I'm sorry, I should iterate that. So next business day. And text and emails, those go out the exact same day. So it's all about efficiency. How quickly can we get in front of the patient, alerting them that they do owe us payment. And when you do that, and then when we're hitting them with different modalities, we're getting the paper statement, we're getting the email, we're getting the text in their preferred way. It also helps us stay top of mind. Because I know that some of us receive a bill and think, oh yeah, I need to pay that, and then we set it aside and forget. But then if I got a text message as a reminder, boom, I jump all over it. Now, as we've said before, patients want to receive both the paper statement and some sort of ability to pay online. Well, welcome to our latest feature. So what BillFlash statements now offer is this provided convenience of a complimentary QR code on mailed statements. So the QR codes direct patients to My Provider Link. If you remember, My Provider Link is the online portal for making payments. So it enables them to make direct payments from their bill hassle-free. Now, for this to show up on a mailed statement, for those of you that are currently BillFlash customers, you do need to have either eBill notices or pay services activated. If neither of those are activated, then the traditional paper statement will not have the QR code. But with one or both of those, then it is. And what's the difference? If we have eBill notices activated, but we do not have merchant services, then it will be scanned to view versus the visual that you see here, where if you also have merchant services throughout, then it will be scanned to pay. So the idea is when the mail and the eBill notices are combined, right? We already talked about it's more efficient. We get paid quicker, 11 days quicker on average. We saw that we get paid more, 18% more in total collection on average. But let's look at a few other benefits. Mailed bills. We use the NCOA, which is the National Change of Address, through the USPS, which means that you're never sending bills to the wrong place. And so they're not being sent back to you looking for updated addresses. That's something that happens automatically. And beyond that, we also include envelopes. As just mentioned, we include the QR codes. So we're trying to make it pay easy. But then let's look at additional discounts. If we're talking about how do we improve the bottom line, and we're combining mail and eBill notices, there are bundling discounts when you do that. Not only that, if for those that have the services, you already know that an eBill notice, a text message or an email, you can send one or you can send both for the same cost. So already right there, there's some efficiency. Why would I not send both if I have the information? And then if we get that additional discounted bundle for also sending the mail, it just makes sense to do the three together. And so from there we go, okay, now the bill is in front of them. Now they've got the QR code, now they're scanning it. So here we are at OnlinePay. So the consumer said, hey, I still want a paper bill, but 73% And by the way, this, depending on the survey you look at, that number we've seen balloon up to 90%. But what we know is at least 3/4 of people, of patients, want to pay medical bills online. So with BillFlash, with OnlinePay, patients are given the option to pay online on their phone or on their desktop through My Provider Link, that patient portal we were talking about, that payment portal. And it has embedded payment options based off of your practice's preferred methods of payment. OnlinePay works cohesively with all of BillFlash's pay services solutions, so you can integrate easily. Now remember, tip down here at the bottom, to always inform patients and staff of changes to your payment platform. And so if all of a sudden we're going to incorporate OnlinePay, our patients are begging for it, they want it, but they also need to be educated to the fact that we've moved on to that. And that's not to say that you can't continue to take in-office payments. Of course we can. It's having the opportunity or option to do both. That's the key. With BillFlash OnlinePay, patients can choose to pay as a guest, not recommended, or to make an account and save their preferred payment methods for easy pay, recommended. Why is that recommended? The reason why we recommend that they create an account is because if they do so, they will also be able to go back and access their billing history, and they can save their payment options. Just adding more convenience to the experience. And that's what we want. We want a great payer experience. If it's easy for our patients to pay, they'll come back again. If we make it difficult for them, then we don't know. We know that 75%, 74% may bounce at that point. So if we switch to using OnlinePay, what are the benefits, right? It streamlines our administrative processes. It allows staff to focus on more valuable and patient-centered tasks, such as following up on insurance claims, scheduling appointments, whatever it may be. When less time is spent billing patients, there's more improved communication and experiences with patients. We're going to transition from OnlinePay now to PlanPay. So what is PlanPay? This is an interesting stat. 1 in 4 Americans can't cover a $400 emergency expense. As in, they were not anticipating it. Not that 1 in 4 Americans don't have the $400, but it's that when there's an unanticipated emergency expense, they can't cover it. As patients' out-of-pocket costs rise, the desire to pay through payment plans rises as well. And that's what we're used to. We're used to car payments, to mortgage or rent payments. We're used to cell phone payments. We're used to things being broken up into bite-sized or digestible pieces. In fact, according to a survey conducted by Flywire, almost 40% of patients prefer payment plans when medical expenses are between just $50 and $250. Let me say that again. Small bill between $50 and $250. 40% of patients would prefer a payment plan for that. And then the figure increases to over 50%, as you can imagine, when the costs are over $1,000. That makes sense. Providing payment plans, such as PlanPay through BillFlash, gives your patient autonomy over how they pay their bill. And generally what that will mean is it will mean an increase in payments of bills. With PlanPay, patients can conveniently settle their medical bills through automated payments spread over time, following a mutually agreed upon schedule. Obviously, the practice is involved in setting up time frames or monthly amounts. Recurring payments are most highly utilized in healthcare than any other industry. So it's essential to have them be a part of our payment offering. Going back to what we said at the beginning, which is expectation, what this younger generation expects in terms of offering. PlanPay also empowers healthcare providers to customize the payment experience, accommodating both the practice's needs, which is obviously very important. We have to get paid to stay in business. But also the patient's preferences, which is equally important in today's day and age. And that ensures or creates a seamless and stress-free financial process for everyone. It used to be you could go to a practice or even to other types of merchants, and it was, sorry, we're cash only. Some are card only. But the days of it being merchant-centered and not customer-centered around pay is over. We need to be cognizant of our patients and their preferences and their needs. 57%, so over half of patients prefer to be presented with the option to use a payment plan prior to or at the time of service. That's just setting expectations. And so, we generally know why we're seeing a patient. We generally know what that visit will end up costing, and we have a perfect opportunity to get either to, at the very least, educate and inform, if not receive commitment early on that there will be a payment plan or the utilization of that payment plan. And when we proactively offer this, it empowers our patient to make a more informed decision. Maybe they don't need the payment plan. Makes more sense just to pay up front, whatever it may be. But when it's concerning their health care, making informed decisions is going to help us in the long run in terms of receiving that payment. And not just the payment, but a timely payment. The approach also enhances the overall patient experience, which fosters the patient loyalty that we're looking for. When individuals are aware that a practice prioritizes facilitating these payment processes, they become more inclined to seek future services from us, and they're less likely to postpone those necessary medical care, which is a growing problem. Okay, so we've talked about OnlinePay, talked about PlanPay, now we're going to talk about AutoPay. The future of payments are automatic, as 39% of consumers are paying their monthly bills with automatic payments. We're creeping up on half, right? The monthly bills. This means patients are familiar and comfortable with putting their card on file to be charged each time a new bill is issued to them. You can use BillFlash AutoPay to ensure you get paid on time and patients don't have to do anything beyond the initial setup. So if you look at the screen, these are some of the bills or the payments that our patients are already making every month through auto payment methods. And when we set up automatic payments, patients can avoid missing payments without the effort of paying every bill individually. They're also eliminating the risk of going to collections or taking on interest payments. This is a lot of the reason why they're willing to do so. Out of sight, out of mind. So we set up the auto pay and then we don't have to worry about that. And other things you can do, you can even incentivize patients to use auto pay with a small discount on their bills when they sign up. There's an option. Just be sure that if you are going to do that, that you check with participating insurance carriers, as some of them have language that prohibit discounts. But anything we can do to drive those payments and drive them in a timely manner. Another stat, 83% of physicians report the greatest challenge is slow patient payment. It's hard. We provided a service. We're expecting to get paid. And we've got backlog. We have outstanding AR. Slow payments are a huge stressor for practices everywhere. Doesn't matter the specialty, doesn't matter what state you're in, it's all of us. But automatic payments can virtually free physicians of this issue. So AutoPay through BillFlash is a great way to ensure payments so you can relax knowing that the patients will pay their bills in full and on time, because again, they're not thinking about it. It's just set up. So an overview. So let's go over some of the key takeaways from today. how putting patients at the center of our billing strategy drives revenue. So first, if we combine a traditional paper statement with a text message or an email, this increases paid bills and you get paid faster. How much faster? Anybody remember? 9 days faster from 20 to 11. And what increase in total collection? 18% increase. That was takeaway number one. Number two, online payments, like BillFlash's OnlinePay, are the future. Make no mistake, I'm sure everybody on this call knows. They benefit staff, they benefit patients, and it's a key feature patients are looking for when they choose a practice. And we're always looking for new patient enrollment. Key takeaway number two. Key takeaway number three, with rising healthcare and out-of-pocket costs, payment plans such as PlanPay, offered through BillFlash, are more important than ever to receive payments. There's a statistic that we left out of this, which is 90% of all patients plan to and want to pay their bill in full, as long as there is a payment method or a plan available that works for them. 90%. People don't want to skip out on their bills. Sometimes they feel forced to. That was key takeaway number three. And number four is convenience matters to patients. And AutoPay is the ultimate convenience, not just for the patient, but also for you as the biller. It guarantees you get paid. And so just a reminder, we talked about a few things. We talked about traditional mailed statements, which are still the number one legal notice of financial obligation. Don't stop sending paper statements. We talked about combining those with the digital age, with eBill notices, text messages, and emails reminding them of their bill and offering them links to click on and go in and pay their bills. This is just a portion of the full suite of services, or the comprehensive suite that BillFlash offers. Obviously, we talked about OnlinePay. There's office and online payments. We also have integrated collections, and then we do end-to-end RCM as well. So anything that on the patient obligation side, and then in terms of RCM as well. So just keep these things in mind as you're trying to figure out, how can I navigate our practice's current situation, and how do we drive revenue quicker and more completely? And I believe that if you can incorporate some of these things that maybe you're lacking in, that's exactly what you'll be able to do. If you need to talk over strategy, I have a team of account solution consultants, but this is what they do, is they talk about the financial health and security of your practice, and they can help you walk through additional steps that you can take to make sure that you're acting on and enabling any of these things. Execution is key. So thank you for joining us today. You can schedule a demo at BillFlash.com if there's any of the services that you're interested in.